where are we with the property market? You might have heard that nationwide, I think the market's gone up 0.00001% or some bullshit in the last 12 months or something. You know, it's all over the place, really. There's not a lot of consistency within the market. Property market is it's a micro market. As Paul Mahoney, who's a good friend of mine, is on Property Elevator, he always says, John, it's a property. It is a micro market. You might get an area of Edgbaston. Who lives in Edgbaston here? Who's got some serious money? Ah, you have. Where the market perhaps hasn't gone down, it might have gone up a little bit. You've got other areas where it might have gone down 10%. For me, the market in the last 12 months has gone down 10% on the whole. Some of you might disagree with that. I'm looking across the whole country. I've got 2 schemes in Scotland at the moment I'm doing. And the market in Scotland, to be fair, hasn't gone down. That's probably gone up 2 or 3%. But the rest of the country, for me, London might have dropped a bit more than that, but it's an average. So I think it's dropped 10%. I've said 10 to 15 because I'm always trying to buy property. And what I want to do? Talk the market down. If you're buying property, you don't want to be saying, oh, the market's all right. It's all going quite well. No, it's not. It's a disaster. You want to get out of it now? I want to buy. Yeah? And by the way, what a great time to buy. Or is it? How many people here think the market is at the bottom? I mean, the residential market. We have an expert in Kirsty in the commercial market here. Who thinks it's at the bottom commercially? Kirsty does? Yep. Well, the commercial market's been on the floor for 4 or 5 years, really, and I wouldn't disagree with that. It's huge discounts available compared to what you could build them for. The question is, can you rent them? Can you let them or can you develop them? That's the question on that. With the residential, who thinks the residential... So I've got a bit of a throat problem, so I have to keep drinking water. Who thinks the residential market is at the bottom-ish? I think it's at the bottom. Interesting. Now, we'll ask the same question after I finish talking and see what you think then. That's very interesting. Okay, and it also helps me to say what I'm going to say because then I know what you think, so thank you for that. So building materials. So we're in the perfect storm. We've had the perfect storm. Anybody that can survive the following has done very, very well if they're developing property. A lot of you are investors, and investing is pretty safe. You know, over 25 years, the market's gone up 5% a year, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty boring, and you won't get the capital growth you've had in the last few years, but you know that. You all know that, and you survive. You're surviving. You know, loans have gone up in terms of cost. We know that as well. But so if you're a developer, this is what's happened to you, and you should feel very, very sorry for developers. I'm telling you, people like me, although I'm an investor as well, to be fair. So building materials have increased at least 30% in the last 2 or 3 years. 30%. Interest rates have doubled. I borrowed 4.2 million off Shawbrook Bank 3 years ago to do a development. I paid them back last year. And I borrowed the money at 6.1%, and I was in Shawbrook's head office. In fact, I was judging some awards. What awards was I judging, Hayley? Remind me. Sorry? Property investor, I haven't judged these awards. You get confused, there's so many of them. Anyway, and I was talking to one of the directors there who I know, and he said, John, if you want to borrow that money now, it's 12.2%. Shawbrook, 12.2% to borrow money. Now, fortunately, Sonia is here from Roma Finance, and Roma sponsor the Property Elevator Show. So guess who I borrowed a load of money off last year? You got it? Yeah. Roma, because you all work together and help each other, and Roma have been very, very good, I have to say. Not very cheap, but very, very good. So, interest rates have doubled. It's such a hard gig at the moment, and house prices have probably dropped 10 or 15%, especially from what the agent tells you. Who honestly believes an estate agent? Hands up. Anyone? I've got 6 estate agencies in Norfolk, and I don't believe what they say on a Tuesday morning either when they report the sales and go, we've had a bit of a tough time and this, that, and the other. It has been tough for estate agents, and the problem is the turnover for estate agents and house builders is down 30%, 30 to 35% across the board. And that's a major problem because for an estate agent, you can't cut your costs. So our costs in our estate agency, $150,000 a month. That's what I pay out, $150,000 a month. And The 35% we're not selling this year compared to last year and the year before is our profit. So you really are stuck as an estate agent. They always say with estate agents, you're only ever 3 months away from going bust. You sell nothing for 3 months, you'll be putting a lot of cash in the business. So, perfect storm. Anybody that can survive a storm like that as a property developer, if they bought 2.5 years ago, is a very, very clever person or has got very deep pockets. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is a complete nightmare. A complete nightmare. And the other problem is, you can't, if you've got nice houses, and I mean big detached houses, if you're building big detached houses, you can't say, well, I'll rent them for 5 years, because now the interest rates are so much higher, 6-7% interest rate, they can't wash their face. Ultimately, the bank take them back. And guess who's there to help the banks? Me, and people like me. So out of the 6 deals I've done last year, and catching a falling knife is a dangerous game, by the way. You better best to wait to let it bounce off the floor, like shares. Buying in a falling market is a dangerous game to play and not one that everyone should do. However, out of the 6 deals I bought last year, 4 of them have been off receivers. Part finished. We love part finished. It comes with problems and challenges, but we love it. So, perfect storm. Next one, please, Mark. You're slightly under. There we go. External factors. So, what are the external factors for next year? The market has dropped. I said the market's dropped a little bit. The materials have dropped 30%. I don't think they're going to drop another 20%. The materials aren't going to go up another 20% or so, are they? They're probably starting to level out. You might consider that sale prices are leveling out with nationwide two months in a row of static or slight growth in the sale prices. So you'd like to think that this year that's finishing is probably more turbulent than next year's going to be. However, I think most of us would probably agree with that so far. However, what are the external factors? Economy. General election. During a general election year, everything tends to slow down because people are worried about who's going to be in. Does it really matter? I mean, I'm a true blue. So what are the market movers? Funding and lenders. So in 2008, 2009, no one wanted to lend. No one would lend any money. That isn't the case now. You've got companies like Roma and many, many more who are out there lending on property development as well as investment. And that's not going to change. I can't see that changing. So we're not in a 2008 to 2009 situation at all. I'm sure of that. And of course, if you're buying a deal now to develop, and it won't be ready for 2 years, which it probably won't be. Linda will help you with the planning. Where's Linda gone? Linda will help you with the planning. It's going to take 6-9 months to get planning. You then got to get a builder who's capable of doing it and start the work. Work will take 9 months to a year probably. So if you're looking to do a development now, you're 2 years away from being able to sell it. So actually, in 2 years' time, your judgment is a judgment call. Do you think in 2 years' time things are going to be better? What do you think? Who knows? Kerry, you're a bit negative, you. I like to think in 2 years' time things are going to be a lot better.
Good job she's a coach.
Yeah, she's a coach, but she's looking after her clients. Cautious.
I'm sitting on the fence there.
That's interesting. Okay, so funding isn't going to be a problem. Government intervention. So what do I mean by that? This government have been brilliant, really think about it, for housing developers. And everyone will go, oh, no, they haven't. Well, hang on a minute. Permissive development, who was that? Who brought that in? Conservatives. Who brought Help to Buy in? Conservatives. The only scheme in the whole world where you could borrow 20% off your government to go and buy a property. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Does that help?
Fantastic. Helped 780,000 people in the UK buy a property. More importantly, it's helped the major 10 house builders in the UK. And who did they make a donation to, do you think? Oh, like me, the Tory party. So, government intervention, stamp duty relief, first-time buyers. Other countries don't do these things. The Tory government have done those things. Are Labour going to really help first-time buyers? No chance. When he says he's going to build 1 million homes, Keir, can't make his mind up about anything. When he says that, he's talking about social housing. He's not talking about the people you're going to help. And 1.6 million people in this country, landlords like you, rent to social tenants. What do you think he's going to do? Put the rents down so they can afford it. Government intervention. Stamp duty might make more of a comeback next year because they're trying to buy votes. That can affect the market, help it. You've also got, will they bring a help to buy back? Maybe they will. You know, remember what we said earlier, these big house builders are 35% down on turnover. They've got to do something. They're not making any money. They're closing sites down. People are, you know, bricklayers who you couldn't even speak to because they're either on holiday or earning so much money they didn't want to know you, ring you up now and say, oh, got any work, got any work? First-time buyers, well, there's more first-time buyers this year than last year. Why do you think that is? With a falling market. Any ideas?
A lot of people delayed as well from the pandemic.
Yes, there is a little bit of that. You're my best friend because I'm selling you a property. So whatever you say is correct. Now, but you're right. I'm sure you're right. So you're absolutely right. But also, which was the fourth biggest bank to lend to first-time, or people to lend to first-time buyers this year? They lent £8.2 billion to first-time buyers. Who was that? What organisation was that?
Mum and Dad.
Who said mum and dad? Bank of mum and dad. 8.2 billion they've lent. Am I right? That's just rude.
Not you. Who said that? Was it you?
Yeah. He's top man. Top man. Top man.
He's got deep pockets, he has that, John.
Well, you can see that. Look at the way he's dressed. Amount of stock also has an effect. They're saying the market is picked up because there's a lack of stock. I'm not sure that's right, because in my estate agency, we've got more properties on the market now than we've ever had. So I'm not sure that's quite right everywhere. In certain areas, it may be true. But I think perhaps there's a bit more sustainability than we realised within the property market at the moment. I don't just think it's because of the amount of stock available. Where are the bargains? Auctions, because auction is the barometer for the whole of the property market. When the property market is going down, you see it first in auctions. When it's going up, which is very important for you guys, when it's going up, you see it in auctions first. So when you see the market and the returns going from, say, 55% sold to 75, 80%, fill your boots, because you know at that point, that's good borrowing, not bad borrowing. You're borrowing to be positive, not to be negative. And that's very, very important. What time is it? You've been keeping time for me.
1:24.
One what?
20 minutes after.
How long have I got? Well, I've got a very important Zoom at 2:30, but anyway, we'll carry on. So, auctions. Commercial, well, Kirsty's here. Kirsty will bail me out. I'm sure that the commercial agents are really far better than any estate agent, because they're professional, their clients listen to them, the client says the price needs to come down 100 grand, they'll probably listen to them, whereas they won't with a normal, you know, some spotty-faced 19-year-old with a sharp-looking suit. So that sounded like me, actually, many years ago. But anyway, never mind, we won't worry about that. So commercial agents, and also, of course, when you buy a commercial agent, normally there's no emotion involved in it, because you are buying a property that no one's living in, probably. You know, there's not that emotion to go with it or anything like that. It's a much hard-nosed deal. And I said most commercial agents are chartered surveyors, as Kirsty is. So that's what you get. You get more professionalism on the whole. Receivers, I deal a lot with receivers. If they've got a deal, they'll deal with you. They'll talk to you, take you out for lunch. If they've got nothing, they won't talk to you. They treat you like badly, in my view. So if they need you, they're all over you. If they don't need you, forget it. But so much property is coming through receivers at the moment. And remember, there's a lag of about 9 months to a year before someone gets into financial trouble and ends up with a receiver. So there will be, even if the market is improving, there will be a lag of, say, 9 months where you know it's improving, but the market is flooded with stock that you can buy. And the reason for that is, when the banks know the market is improving, they'll start pulling the rug on people. Why would you pull the rug on someone if the market's tough? You'll wait until you know you can get your money back before you do it. So receivers is a really big one. Asset managers. Now these are people who deal with Halifax, all the building societies, asset managers. And they do all the dirty work for the building societies, because the building societies haven't got the balls to do it themselves. So they will be told by, say, the Halifax, we need you to sell 300 of these houses we've repossessed a month. They'll give them a target to sell them. And you can ring up these asset managers and get a list off them of what they have for sale, what they don't have for sale. Some will end up in auctions. Most go to estate agents first, but we know the difficult ones end up in auction normally. But sometimes, if they haven't met their targets, they might just do a deal on a few. So asset managers are definitely very much worth talking to. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, we've done that. So the question I have for you, and then we will do some question. Linda's coming up, I think. It's some question and answers, yeah. Just take a sip of water. This is a very, very important part of the whole afternoon. Even more important than my 2:30 Zoom. And that is this, Property Graduate. I'm glad that everyone watches it now, which I don't think everyone's telling the truth, but we won't worry about that. On Property Graduate, there are 3 people on there, apart from me, regulars if you like. Kirsty Darkin is one of them, and she's a bit fiery. I thought you were a bit fiery. You even scared me. Normally it's me being a fiery bit, but we've got Kirsty now, so I can be nice to people. Yeah, you are like all over it. So, who are the other 2 presenters on the property? In fact, there is sort of 3, but 2. Who are the other 2 presenters? How are we going to do this? Because there's a lot of people who think they know the answer.
You started it.
How are we going to do it? I tell you what. I'll tell you what.